When I come out of prison at 20, I was basically a supervillain. You know, I could run for like 10 miles.
Flipping hell.
I was cut, I was eating the right food, I was having 3 meals a day, I was being made to run, I was being made to do circuits, I was being made to swim, I was being made to work. But I was also being taught by every other criminal in the country.
How long have you been there for?
Probably 3 weeks.
Where were you before, like similar type of set?
Yeah, so always like, sort of out the way.
Graham, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking your time out to speak to us. I know we spoke to you about 2 weeks ago, and you told us a little bit, like a little glimpse of your situation and what you've been through. But what we're going to do today is we're going to start from the get-go, from the beginning.
Yeah.
So first of all, can you introduce yourself to us, please?
My name's Graham, I'm 41 years old. Currently NA, no address.
Okay.
Sleep underneath a stairwell, just off of London Bridge.
And we saw your where you sleep as well, just under the little staircase there. So I want to ask you, how describe, first of all, start with your childhood. How was your childhood growing up?
I was brought up in a very chaotic household. Dad always in and out of prison, mum went prison. Always people knocking on the door, stolen stuff being sold. You know, always had like, we was always told to go upstairs out the way, so we were very much upstairs children. It was hectic, you know.
Yeah. And when you were young, did you have any idea why all things were so hectic, or did you just ignore it?
No, I think you're a product of your environment. If you're brought up in that environment, it's normal.
It's normal.
Yeah. Just say if you're brought up in a country house, riding horses, normal. To me, that would be like weird.
And then how many siblings did you grow up with in that house?
I've got 2 sisters and a brother.
Okay. And are you like the youngest, or?
I am the youngest.
You
yeah.
are the youngest,
Yeah.
okay. And did your siblings have any sort of influence on you in that stage of your life when you were younger?
Yeah, I guess so. My older sister. She sort of is like a mother figure to me. She still helps me to today.
Yeah. And so when you were growing up, what was it in Plymouth, you said, isn't it?
Yes.
How was when you went to school, how was life at school and stuff?
Difficult, dyslexic, I can't read.
Oh, is it?
Went through a college at 15 to get points so I could have a dictator for my GCSE exams.
Okay.
So I had to do that weekends as well. So it was very sort of.
Did you?
It was different.
So obviously you were dyslexic, and did you finish your studies then, or?
Yes, yeah.
You managed to.
School, yeah.
Okay.
Got all grades, and you know.
Yeah. And the friends that you were around at that age as well, what kind of people were you hanging around?
We need to go back a bit further, because at sort of 10, 11, my dad brought home a friend of his that started giving me drugs and started abusing me. So by the time I was sort of 13, 14, I was sort of a drug addict.
Okay.
So it's not a case of like, what was your friend circle, you know, how was your schooling, how was this, how was that.
It's at home even.
Yeah, so my life has been sort of like you know, like I've always had to earn money at an early age, so it's never really been like a childhood, I suppose. It's been like, I've seen how my parents earned money, so that's the easiest and quickest way.
And you said about your dad's friend coming home and giving you drugs. Did your dad know about this?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
So.
Did you ever like speak to him afterwards about it as you grew up?
No, my dad died when I was in prison last time.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
No, it's good.
So this is how long ago?
But they died 2 years ago, a year ago.
And then what kind of drugs was that man giving you?
It was everything from marijuana up to heroin.
Okay. And I'm guessing your family probably knew you were taking these drugs?
No, not at all. You understand, when you're in a household that someone's always knocking on your door, and my mum, God bless her, she tried her best, you know what I mean? She had a husband she was afraid of. You know, he was abusive, he was physically abusive.
Okay.
So she basically had to do what she had to do. She used to walk to the shop with no shoes on her feet to buy her tea. And my dad would take the money and disappear for days at a time.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I had a really bad pair of parents, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
had one parent that was very loving and tried her very best, and just had a partner that was an asshole. You know, so
Did you see him as your dad? Like,
yes,
did you?
yeah. I always aspired to make him like me, you know, to love me, I guess.
And how was he towards you?
I had an older brother which went everywhere with him. So it was always a case of I was always stuck with my mum. So I always aspired to get his attention.
Okay. And like household-wise, was your mum able to afford the things that a normal child has, like some of the games, the toys?
No, of course not.
No?
You know, I say of course not, but you don't know. You know, and to me, it's normal that people struggled
Okay.
back then. You know, so for a birthday, you'd get like a couple Transformers. You know, for Christmas, you would get probably 30 presents, but a lot of them would break Christmas Day.
Okay.
You know, where they're very cheap presents.
Yeah.
So my mum's trying her best, but obviously it's either a hand-me-down or it's a cheap version, or it's, you know, it's difficult.
Yeah. And like with your dad, you said he went missing for many days as well.
Yeah,
Right.
all the time.
What was, if you don't mind me asking, what was he actually involved in?
I don't really know, you know, he was always having affairs, he was always in prison,
Okay.
he used to buy lots of stolen stuff, sell it, he always had a money-making scheme somewhere, you know,
Okay.
that never worked out.
And you said he passed away 2 years ago. Did you see him like a few years ago? When was the last time you saw him
I was
before he
in
passed?
prison and he phoned me up, and it was the first time he ever told me he loved me, was when he
Oh, wow.
was realising that the hospital said he had like a day to live.
Yeah.
So that was, well, I put the phone down on him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you ever forgive him?
No. No, parents are supposed to protect their children, aren't they?
Yeah.
Not bring a predator home. So no, I never.
And so let's move forward. So you got addicted to drugs at a very young age. How did that affect your teenage years?
I was in prison at 17 for armed robbery,
Okay.
where I had to fund the money to get the drugs. So my sister was married to a Liverpoolian,
Oh, what? Sorry.
a Scouser,
Okay.
who lived in Plymouth with her,
Yeah.
and we went and done an armed robbery together.
Okay. So that's your sister's boyfriend.
Husband at the
Husband.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you actually rob?
It was an off license.
All right. How much did you guys take from that place?
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
What happened?
I went in there, I put the gun in the guy's face, told him to give me the money, and he just looked at me and said no.
And then? Don't tell me you just walked out. Is that what happened?
No, I didn't just walk out. I hit him with the gun, told him to give me the money, he said no. And then I walked out because it was a case of how far do you go? I was 17,
So
I
did
was
that
scared
did
at
that
the
guy
time.
call the cops on you basically?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was his shop, you know, he's just been attacked, hasn't he? He was like,
Okay, and then the police caught you and sent
yeah,
you to
well, I
prison.
handed myself in.
Oh, okay.
Because they put me in the paper saying they were looking for me and stuff like that. So I handed myself in, and I got 3 years for it.
Okay, and did you actually fulfill those 3 years, or did you get out early?
No, I did all 3
You
years.
had to do all three.
Yeah, I went in when I was 17, come out when I was 20.
And did your friend that you were with, or your
He didn't get
brother-in-law?
done for that there armed robbery, but he carried on to do some more, and he got done for them. You know, I don't know anything about that. That's his business.
And then, so I'm guessing, obviously, your mum definitely would have found out, and then.
I was at my mum's house when I handed myself in.
Okay, and how was her reaction to that? Because obviously she's seen her husband go through that lifestyle, and then.
By then, I think she was already remarried by then.
Okay.
My mum ran away from my dad when I was 15. She hid her clothes in my wardrobe,
Yeah.
waited for me to go to school, waited for my dad to leave, and then took her clothes and ran away. And I didn't see her for about a year,
Okay.
where she had to hide away from him because he used to try knocking her over, he used to try like kidnapping her and getting her back. So like I say, you know, she tried her best. Her life was very, at points she was, you know, trying to protect her life, I guess.
And did you, where were you living during that, let's say you're 14 years old of of age and until 17 when you went to prison. Where were you? Because your mum, you said she went away.
Yeah, up to 15 I lived with my mum and dad. As soon as my mum left, my dad would just give me as much money as I wanted, really. It doesn't really matter, he was never in. So from 15 I sort of lived by myself and with my brother.
Okay. So would you say your dad tried to be a good dad?
No,
No.
no, not at all.
And what do you think made him? Obviously, it's better to ask him. But what do you think? Why did he go into that lifestyle? What was the biggest factor?
He grew up at a time. He grew up with 9 brothers or 8 brothers.
Okay, big family.
Yeah. So I guess, you know, they were always fighting and, you know, it's 9 boys, isn't it?
Mm.
And I think it's, you know, it's not boring being a criminal. You know, it's exciting at times. It's frightening at times, but it's frightening in a way of like being on a roller coaster.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So it's that fear that's releasing endorphins.
exactly. Yeah.
So it's not a case of sort of when you're going to do a crime, you don't think about it. Most criminals have to go toilet in the middle of a crime or before doing the crime, where their adrenaline's rushing.
Okay.
So it's not a case of just sort of, like you see on TV, they're all cool and collective.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, most of the time they're panicking, they're stuttering, they're trying not to leave a drop of sweat.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
So there's a lot going through the mind basically when all of that is
Yeah, of
happening.
course. And I think that's the reason, you know, most people get into crime is because it's fulfilling.
Okay. What was your first crime then?
Probably with my dad putting me on a boat to rob like the fish finder, ship to shore and stuff like that. Probably about 8, 9 years old.
Oh, wow. Really, really young. So he got you into that quite quick. So you were exposed to these things very, very early.
Yeah, so to me it wasn't crime, it was just going out.
Okay.
You know, you don't think about the repercussions, you don't think about the person whose boat it is, that he's
Yeah.
going to be afraid to go on there in case there's someone on there stealing something from his boat.
Especially because you got your dad with you, you obviously have that trust as well and that
Well, it wasn't
security.
that, I was trying to get his attention all the time, so I was always trying to do everything right. Whatever he asked me to do, I would do.
Okay. And now you went to prison for 3 years. How was that? That was your first time going to prison, right?
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Within the first 48 hours, I had 1st and 2nd degree burns all down my left hand side where someone chucked boiling hot water over me.
Oh,
Then I went to Portland, which was just coming out of Boorstow, which everybody was under 21, so it was just non-stop fighting.
so
But
when you
then
say 21, what do you mean?
under 21,
Okay.
so they were minors,
Oh, yeah,
young offenders.
yeah,
But it was all ran at the time by mostly ex-military, so it was ran like a military camp. You had to do bed packs, marching frees,
yeah.
you had to do gym, swimming, stuff like that. So when I come out of prison at 20, I was basically a supervillain. You know, I could run for like 10 miles.
Flipping hell.
I was cut, I was eating the right food, I was having 3 meals a day, I was being made to run, I was being made to do circuits, I was being made to swim, I was being made to work. But I was also being taught by every other criminal in the country.
Exactly. And you know, I remember studying at college and university as well that a lot of times prison actually makes things worse because you're around other criminals
Yeah, definitely.
and you learn from them.
Yeah.
So would you say prison made you worse when it comes to crime and drugs
No,
and
it
all?
made me better.
It made you better.
Yeah.
In what way?
And when I got out, I didn't get caught for 10 years.
Okay,
And
so
I
it
was
made you
stealing
better at the
safes.
crimes, yeah.
Yeah, I was stealing safes out of shops, I was breaking into anywhere and taking anything I wanted.
Yeah.
And not getting caught because I was in prison, I was taught how to do alarm systems, how to basically, if you wanted to rob a shop like this, hide in the toilet, set the alarm off, wait for the police to come, turn the alarm off, do it 3 times and they leave the alarm off.
Okay.
They think it's a fault till the morning, till the people come to check if there's a fault. So then
Yeah.
you have all night then to rob the shop.
Okay.
No alarm.
And
There's little things like that there you pick up and you use to your full advantage.
and you know when you went to prison, did you know any people in there from before?
Yes, yeah, it was like It's like a youth club, you know.
Like a reunion.
Yeah, no, it was. I went to school with one of them. My mate Lee. I was in the same class as him at school.
Okay.
We used to smoke weed together.
How is prison culture? Like, because for people that don't know much about prison life, how is the life in prison? What happens on a day-to-day and...
On a day-to-day basis, you basically woke up at, say, 7:30, you have breakfast at 8.
Do they wake you up or...?
They come around, check on you at 8 o'clock or 7:30.
Yeah.
So when they check on you, you know it's time to get up because you've got to go and then queue for your breakfast.
Yeah.
So you queue for your breakfast and they lock you back up till 9:30, 10. Then they come and open you and you go to work. If you're not working, you clean your cell or do whatever. You're not allowed out of your cell if you're not working. So that encourages you to get a job, to get out of your cell. Then you come back from work about 11:30, 12. So you only go work for a couple of hours. You're locked back up. Then you get let out to queue up for dinner. You get locked back up to eat your dinner. Then you get let out about 1 o'clock to go back to work. Come back about 3, half 3, 4, get locked back up. You get let out to queue up for your tea. You get locked back up with your tea.
Okay.
And then you get let out about 7 o'clock for association for an hour and a half where you play pool and mingle, and then you get locked up for the night. And then that's the same, 24/7, every day.
7 days a week?
7 days a week, just the same routine.
And now you said about work. Is that work within the prison or...?
Yeah, work within the prison.
What kind of work?
When I was in Portland on my first sentence, I'd done a welding course. So I got MVQ in welding. Other than that, you make potato boxes or you bag stuff for the paint shop like screws, nuts, bolts.
Yeah.
You put 10 of them in a bag and staple it.
Okay.
You know, you do jobs that
and what
other
do
people don't want to do.
They pay you, or how do they pay you?
They pay you about £8 a week, something like that, £9 a week.
Is it like proper physical money?
No, it goes on to like a slip and then you fill out a canteen sheet.
Yeah.
So they give you a menu of what you can buy.
Okay.
And a price list next
Is
to
it all like
whatever
food
it is.
related or?
Food, shampoos, your toiletries, anything. Trainers if you've got enough. So you're going to get money sent in.
Yeah. So with that money, what kind of things were you buying? Were you selling any of those things, or what was the plan for you? Just to get by?
At the time, my dad and brother was coming up to Portland bringing me up drugs, so I was selling drugs in prison.
Oh shit.
Like I say, I've had like a really mental life.
How do they sneak the drugs in?
I had an outside job. I worked up to get an outside orderly job, so I was working.
So you can do that in prison as well?
Yeah, this is the real funny thing. I was working in the officers' mess, helping cook their food.
Okay.
So I'd go for a visit, come back, go toilet. My brother would walk along the street, chuck something through the window, and I'd be in the kitchen, cutting up lumps of pot with all the prison officers in the next room, eating, drinking tea, and I'd be cutting up lumps of pot.
Wow, you're
in the
crazy,
kitchen.
man. And
Right,
this
and
is,
then
you're
found
only
out,
like
you know.
17, 18 at this point.
Yeah, 18, 19 at this point.
And how many hours do you reckon you spent in per day in the prison cell?
If you haven't got a job, 23,
Flipping hell.
22.
And is the prison cell just one person in, or two people?
No, there's 2 people. In
Like a
there
bunk
you
bed?
have, if you go into a very old bomb shelter,
Yeah.
which is curved,
Okay.
that is normally a cell. They're normally all Victorian prisons.
Okay.
So they're all arches.
Yeah.
Some cells, some arches are split in 2. Some is the full arch.
Full arch, yeah.
And there's normally, as you walk through the door, there's a bunk bed on your left-hand side. And then on your right-hand side, you have 2 tables for 2 prisoners, 2 cabinets. And at the back of your cell, you have your sink and toilet.
And then the 3 years you were in prison, did you have the same prison cellmate?
No, I did go through a few.
Okay. Why did they move them around, or like, do some people just leave earlier? Is that what it is, or they finish their term?
Have you ever been locked in a room with someone for 23 hours?
Never. I don't think it would be nice.
Nah. You know, them even sort of like, you can even hear someone blink come the end.
Okay.
You know, any little thing starts pissing you off about someone.
Have you
So
when
then
you
just keep swapping cellmates, so you
Okay,
just,
all right. So you don't get too frustrated with someone.
some people stay together for years. Other people, it's like a monthly. Can I go there? Can I go there?
When you look at your prison cell, what do you see on the opposite side? Just another cell?
You don't see anything on the opposite side. There's a door there. It's not like America or TV where there's bars. It's a solid steel door.
Okay. With like a window or no window?
With a very thin window with a flap on the outside.
Okay.
So if you kick your door, you can kick the flap open, and then when you're looking across, you literally see the cell door at the other side of the landing.
All right. Is there any windows in that cell?
Yeah, at the back, but it's normally a very small square.
What does that look out towards?
Normally a wall. No, that's seriously.
What's the point of it then?
Or in Portland, you used to look out at the sea.
Okay.
It's for air. That's what they have it.
And obviously you're getting your food. So for your food, the food is not coming to you, you're going to the canteen to get your food?
Yeah, the canteen's on the wing. So they have, say, 4 wings to a prison, and they have a kitchen. The kitchen, every week you get a canteen sheet, you fill the canteen sheet out, and you get a food menu. You fill the food menu out, and that's what you get each day for a week.
So is basically your food, is that your highlight of the day when you're in prison? Like, is that something you look forward to, or because every day is monotonous, the same?
Yeah, but the menu's the same.
Okay.
Basically, what you get, they rotate it every 2 weeks. So if you're in prison for longer than 2 weeks, then it starts repeating itself. So every other week it's the same as the fortnight before.
Yeah. And you know, regarding the other prisoners there, did you, when you went into the prison, did you have any regrets, like I shouldn't have done that crime, or how was your mental attitude at that point when you went in? Did you regret getting caught, or you handed yourself in? So.
No, I didn't regret getting caught. At the time I was really heavily into taking drugs, and I think it saved my life.
Prison saved your life?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, that's powerful.
It saved my life more than a couple of times, I would have thought.
Alright, so talking about this first time for now, what happened with your drug habit then when you were in prison? I know your family were giving you the drugs, but did that die down a little bit, your addiction?
Well, when you go into prison, they give you a urine test, and they give you, so if you're on heroin, they would give you methadone.
Yeah.
And that's about it, really. Anything else, you just...
Were you on methadone?
Yes, for a while. I've always got on methadone, got off it very quickly in prison. Because some prisons won't take you if you're on methadone. So if you want to get to a decent prison...
Alright, you got to be off it.
You got to be off methadone, you got to have a nice, clean record, in-prison record, you know, like no violence against officers. So you have to be quite strict. Well, you don't have to be quite strict, you have to be quite deceiving.
Okay.
Because you've got to trick everybody into believing you're being very behaved.
Alright. So basically,
when you go for a urine test, you'll get someone who's not taking any drugs, you get them to pee in a bottle, and you put it behind the radiator for the night, and then you put that down your trousers. When you go for a urine test, you put that in the test.
Okay.
And then it's the same temperature as your urine.
Alright, so there's many ways around these things.
So that's just one way of tricking one part of the prison service. You know, the other way is, say good morning to an officer. They instantly think you're polite and nice.
Okay. So you're building a rapport with them?
Yeah, you know, they got the keys to your cell.
Okay.
No one else is letting you in or out, it's them. So if you're an asshole to them, you're staying in your cell all day.
Yeah.
If you're polite, they might make you a wing cleaner if you haven't got a job. So then basically when everybody's at work, they let you out your cell and you just clean the landing.
Yeah.
But then you've got the opportunity of running around the prison for everybody, or around the wing. So you can earn lots of extras that way.
And then you went from taking heroin to taking methadone. What's the difference between the two for someone who's a user?
It's different for different people. To me, there is no difference.
You don't feel the
The
difference?
only difference to me is one you go to a chemist and the other one you go to a drug dealer.
Okay. And is it practically the same thing, or what's the difference? What's the word?
No, methadone's liquid, heroin's powder.
Is it the same
but
substance, same ingredients?
Roughly, I would have thought, yeah.
Okay.
And you don't, if you're asking when you swap over from one to the other, are you ill, and until they get your level of how much methadone you need,
Okay, yeah.
they start you on a low dose. And if you're being sick and you've got the runs, then they'll put it up until the side effects of coming off of heroin stop. And then when you get to that right level, then they keep you there, and then they start dropping you slowly.
Yeah.
So you don't really feel the
Is that what happened with you?
yes, yeah.
So was there any point in that first prison sentence that you were clean?
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 2.5 years of it.
Okay.
Because when my dad and brother was dropping me up drugs, so when I say 2.5 years clean, I used to smoke a bit of weed. To me, that's like,
In prison?
yeah.
Yeah.
But mostly I was selling the drugs just to live. You know, I wasn't taking the drugs.
Okay.
But
you
it all
know,
come to a crash and end anyway. So my brother brought me a bag of these because he couldn't get any weed.
he bought you a bag of what?
Ecstasy up,
Okay.
which I sold the wing, and the one guy thought he was dying because he never took ecstasy before. So we pressed the buzzer,
Oh.
and the officer said, if you don't tell me who sold it to you, I'm not going to get the medical staff. So obviously he told the officer it was me.
Yeah.
I had to go for a urine test the next day, and I got done for 21 illegal substances in my system.
21.
Yeah, but what you got to remember is an illegal substance in prison is a substance that the doctor hasn't registered you with. So if you've taken aspirin in prison and you haven't been to the doctors and you get urine tested, that's an illegal substance
Okay.
because you haven't been prescribed it, so you shouldn't have it.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, you know, an illegal substance in prison could be anything.
Yeah. And you know, when you obviously have your break, I think was it an hour and a half break that you have when you're socializing?
Yes.
What happens in that time? Is there like a massive hall that's got different activities?
No, it's all in, you're just on the wing. They just open your cell door. There's a couple of pool tables in the middle of the wing. It's a chance for you to get a shower,
Okay.
clean your cell, do your wheeling and dealing.
Okay. Is there cameras? Must be, right?
Yeah, but they, what good's a camera with a mop in front of it?
Of course.
So, and there's no cameras in the actual cells,
Yeah.
because in the cells you obviously you strip wash. You've got your toilet in there.
Yeah.
So I don't think legally they can have cameras in the cells. So if you want to do, all the cells are left open within this time. So you
Okay,
can just
yeah.
go
So
in
you can
someone's
back
cell.
in and out.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you see any violence or
Yeah,
prisoners?
Yeah, it's daily in there. Someone's always upset with someone. The thing you've got to think about is, in London, say you've got 10 psychopaths.
Yeah.
Say there's 10,000 people in London. In prison, you've got 10 psychopaths, but there's only 13 people. So
Okay. So
out here you can dodge
something's
bits
bound
like,
to happen.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
Basically, like 80% of the people in prison are violent.
okay.
So it's pretty hard not to see violence, or you're always trying to dodge violence.
Okay. And do people get weapons in as well? Just sneak them
Yeah,
in?
no, you make them in there.
Okay. And you know, when you're in the prison, do you think about the outside world much?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
And I think the weird thing is, when you come out of prison, time goes so fast, and you realise that people haven't been ignoring you; they've just been living. But when you're in there, your
think-
mind tells you that everybody's ignoring you, and
Everyone on the outside world?
you know, your family, your friends. But you just don't realise that in there, time stands still, and out here things move on, progress. You know.
So now you come out when you're 20. What happens then? You're out now.
I meet a woman and get married and have 2 children.
Okay.
Get a job, start getting a bit of normality.
You're clean.
In and out, yeah. I still steal all the time. Married woman, I had 2 children. I had 1 child, and then she got pregnant again, and we got married when she was pregnant.
Okay.
I was working the daytimes and stealing the night times. So anything I earned from my wages, I used to give to my wife to look after the house. Anything I stole was mine.
Okay. And did she know about all of this? What you do at night?
No.
No. What was your job?
I used my welding qualification
Yeah.
in a place called Fish. Used to do some fabricating welding for him. And delivery driving. I was like a multi-drop driver.
Did you get any qualifications in prison at that point?
Yeah,
you,
welding.
You
I
can,
was,
right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you did. And that's free, is paid for? Or?
Yes,
Yeah?
yeah. And it's a proper qualification. Comes from a college. It's,
And don't mind me asking, from what I remember in the previous interview that we done, you said you don't have kids.
no, yeah, I know. I did.
So what was the reason for that?
Because why did I say I didn't have kids before?
Yeah.
'Cause I didn't really want you. I'd also say I didn't have no siblings.
Okay, yeah.
Because I didn't really know you guys. I didn't
Okay.
really.
Now that makes sense. I thought maybe it's like you don't recognize them as your family or something
Oh,
happened.
no, not at all. Yeah, no, I speak to my children every day still.
How old are they now?
18 and 19.
Yeah.
Or 19 and
And
20.
they're living with your missus or your
My
ex?
son lives with his girlfriend,
Yeah.
and my daughter still lives with her mum. Yeah.
So you had your two little ones back then, and you were, stealing in the evenings, doing robberies. How long did that go on for?
Basically 10 years.
10 years.
And then, I'm talking like we used to go abroad, family holidays. Within that time, I went bankrupt. It was,
It's a bit shocking that you never got caught in those 10 years. Or did you?
no, not at all. I got a lot of, the police used to come and search my house basically every 6 months.
Yeah.
I got a lot of interviews, a lot of stuff left pending investigation.
But they couldn't pin nothing down on you.
No, I was just,
What do you think the reason for that is? You were just got really good at it?
I was highly motivated because of my children.
Okay, so you had a
Yeah.
big motivation now.
Yeah, I did.
Do you reckon your dad had the same motivation?
No,
Or what makes you say that?
because I know nothing towards bad had to happen to my children. Nothing.
Okay.
As in, like, my children has always had the best of everything. They've been all over Europe.
Yeah.
My son passed the test when he's 18. He drives around in a brand new car.
But then
I'll
the
pay for
police
everything.
coming home to your house, did that not affect your family or your relationship with your wife?
Yeah, of course. It did and it didn't. You can't, like, the holidays,
So
the
you
hotels
counteract
are
it,
going
basically,
away,
yeah.
and then moan when the police come through your door. If you're going to moan about that, then don't take the holiday.
Yeah.
Don't be blind.
Comes with a
when
price.
Yeah, basically,
And how long were you together with her for?
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And then you split up. Where did you go? Where did she go? What happened?
I basically went and had a snip because we didn't want any more children.
Yeah.
And my wife came home the same year pregnant.
Okay. So she was basically cheating on you.
Yeah, we both cheating on each other.
But what happened then? How did that affect your relationship?
I left.
But you were also cheating on her as well, you said. So
Yeah,
what
at
made
the
you
time
leave?
I was 21 stone. I used to go gym 3 times a day. I used to get
You were
up at
21 stones, did you
yeah,
say?
Yeah, I used to go gym 3 times a day. I used to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and swim a mile a day.
Okay.
I was fit, I was, yeah,
But 21 stones, that's a lot of weight, right?
yeah.
You big guy.
Yeah. Trust me, safes are heavy to lift. You're not lifting a safe if you're not a big guy.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? You've got
Yeah.
to prepare for these things.
Okay.
That's the bit that TV has got real. If you want to be a proper criminal, you do have to go swimming every day and
Yeah.
get your cardiovascular up. You do have to be physically strong. You do have to be big, and you also do have to network. You do have to go to the pubs and take cocaine and talk to the people who's going to buy the stolen stuff or
Yeah.
shit merchandise that normal people wouldn't buy because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
all part of it, It's not just let me go rob that. It doesn't sell itself.
Did you have any close friends who were helping you in these ventures that you were doing? Or were you like a one-man band?
Nah, sometimes I just used to pick different people. Just
What would you say is the most amount of money you made in a day?
26 grand.
In one day?
Yeah.
What was that from?
Safe.
Okay. And so you mentioned the safes before as well. What are we talking about? Like in a shop, or what kind of?
Yeah, shops. So I'd find a way of getting into the shop, whether it would be when they're open, I'd wait for them to close, or when they're closed and then get in after. And then I would take the safe out, take it to a locker, cut it open and take what was inside it.
And you've done this for a long time. So how did you feel towards the end of that? Like, did you still feel the nerves? Did you panic, anxious, or were you just super smooth about it at that point?
Nah, no one's ever super smooth. That is honestly, it's a TV thing.
Okay.
You still get nervous.
Because you know the risk involved, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Especially when you got kids as well.
Yeah. So I used to go over everything like twice. If I had a fag, I used to put the fag end in my sock.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't even leave a fag butt behind.
Yeah. Did you ever think about, obviously you're gaining something, did you ever think about the person that's losing these things?
Nah, that comes much later.
You block it out basically.
Yeah, you know, you go to the pub, you're laughing and joking about it. Because also the people you're mixing with are other people that's doing the same things.
Okay.
So it's not like a Scarlet Pimpernel where you go do a crime and then you go mix with high class celebrities drinking champagne.
You're hanging around.
You know, you go do a
criminals.
crime and then you go to a shitty social club and drink lager.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Was your motivation ever to like brag about it to other criminals?
No, it was always about my children.
Okay. Okay. I was just going to ask
And
you
both my children don't take drugs. They both work.
Did they probably know about your past by now?
Yes, yeah, of course.
Okay, so you split up with your missus and you went and what, did you move towns? Did you?
And I stayed in the same town, got remarried.
Okay, after how long of your leaving your first missus?
A year, 2 years.
And how was that then? So you got remarried. How long were you with her?
It's different because I was back on drugs then.
Okay.
Basically, when I split with my first wife, I walked out the house and got back on drugs that day.
That same day?
Yeah. I was hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was. You know, even though I was cheating on her, love is a very fucking weird thing. You don't know you've got it until it's gone.
Okay. It's one of those things.
Yeah, of course. But it's, you know, it's one of them.
And your second missus, how long were you with her for?
7 years? I'm still married to her.
Okay, still right now.
Yeah. I don't see her, you know, I'm just, you know.
And your first wife, are you on talking terms with her?
Yeah, I'll say hello.
Yeah.
Turn off the petrol gauge when it gets to a tenner.
Yeah. Have you?
I don't want to waste petrol when she's on fire.
Have you
joke.
like? So you both have like kind of made amends and.
Yes, yeah.
And your second missus, did you? So you're still married to her?
Yeah.
And she's in what, Plymouth?
Yes.
Okay. And you know, regarding your life when you were doing all these crimes and stuff, what was your main thing? So was it just stealing safes or?
Anything, I would steal anything.
But how did these things come to you? Like, how would you know where to go?
I would just drive along, and if there was a hot dog wagon there that wasn't clamped, I would steal that.
Okay.
I'd steal a trailer, you know. I'd walk into a shop and steal.
Did you see it as a
Dutch
job,
Coopers.
basically? Like, this is what you have to do every night?
Yeah, or you
Because you
drive
would go
around.
out with the intention of stealing, basically.
Yeah, if I went out in the night, I would already know what I was stealing. I would go out like weekends and stuff like that and just drive around and look for things. So I'd go out for a weekend in Plymouth and leave Plymouth and drive all the coastline up to Bristol.
Yeah.
And then come across the country and then drive all the coastline back to Plymouth. And then jot down everything that I've seen that I could steal on the way up and on the way back.
Okay.
And then I would go home, internet it, see how much it's worth, see how much I could sell it for, then I'd start phoning people, see who wanted to buy it. And then when I've got to sell something sold, then I'll know where it is, I've got it sold, I know what it's worth.
That's crazy, man. It's basically like how people sell online, but they, get the things from somewhere else. But would you sell it before you even have it? Because you can get it anytime, basically. So you were very organized as well when it came to that. You were
No,
planning
my
for
wife just used to think we was going for a drive.
Say that again?
My wife just used to think we were going for a drive, going camping for a weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was very organised.
Did you manage to keep any of that money?
No,
You lost it all.
I've spent it all.
Yeah.
Life takes over, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody lives to their means, I think. You know, if you earn £1,000 a week, you buy a car on finance. If you earn £2,000 a week, you buy a boat as well on finance.
Yeah.
If you earn £3,000 a week, well, now you've got a caravan to go with your boat,
Yeah.
to go with your car. That's all on finance.
Yeah.
Then you lose that job, everything comes crashing down.
And then when you left when you got remarried, so you were with her for 7 years. Since that time to now, how long has that been now?
Probably haven't seen her for nearly a year.
A year. Okay.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, currently you're homeless. How did that happen then? From all of that, what you've been through to being homeless?
I had an epiphany. I had enough.
Enough of what?
I think when you get older, when you're younger, you sort of jump off high buildings into water. When you get older, you look at the high building, you haven't even walked up the stairs yet, and you think, fuck, I'm not doing that, it's going to hurt.
So you start thinking more
Yeah,
deeply in it.
Of course. So when I was younger, I used to steal whatever and not care about it.
Yeah.
No. 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I went to rehab.
Okay.
And it was the first time I opened up about the child abuse.
Okay.
And I went to the police, done an interview. A year ago, I had a huge trial where the guy got done for 12 charges on me and got found guilty for 12 charges, got 12 years.
Is this the same guy that your
Yeah.
dad's friend?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that made me start thinking about the way I was making people feel. So I went home and stole 40 ounces of heroin off of a drug dealer,
Yeah.
and I have left and never gone back.
Okay. So you just made that decision.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when we interview homeless people, and as you probably know as well, a lot of them are on Class A drugs. But we always feel helpless because, you know, obviously we would love for them to be off drugs, but there's nothing much we can do until that person decides, isn't it? Is there
No, you're
anything
right.
that someone else can do to help them?
No.
No, isn't
They
it?
have to want to stop. And it's nothing to do with rock bottom.
Yeah.
That's all bullshit.
What is it then?
It's growing up. You know, it's just having enough.
But you know, Graham, a lot of people I interview, they say, oh, I want to get off the drugs. And obviously we're lay people, we don't know much about this, but we think, well, why don't you just do it? And
Yeah.
it's easy for us to say, but why don't they just do it? Because they say they want to get off it.
Yeah. Last time I got arrested, I was in London. I had a bench warrant for Plymouth. They wouldn't stick me in London court. This is probably 2 months ago. So the next day, they took me from the police station down to Plymouth court. We've missed it because they've took so long driving there. So I'm now going to Plymouth police station. This is 48 hours after the last time I've used.
Okay,
I've got off the bus and started having a fit with withdrawals.
okay,
I could physically die if I just stopped taking drugs just a gap.
all right.
Because what you remember is most of these people on the street, their body is so used to them taking it daily that when they stop it, it's like, just stop eating. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Body's just going to shut down, isn't it?
So it's a necessity, you know, you need it.
I think the body ends up needing it. I don't know, you know,
Do you,
I've done a lot of cold turkeys, and a cold turkey is when you just stop, like you're saying.
yeah, you just give up.
You just don't stop. And the more I've done, the worse they have become over the years. To the
Okay.
point now that I start fitting.
But you almost know what to expect though, isn't it, when you do it? So you're mentally prepared for it, but in a way you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, no, I don't know with that one, Matt. It's very...
So you know when
It's
someone...
like having the worst flu in the world and knowing you can go and knock on that door with £10 and you could run a marathon
Wow.
from having the worst flu in the world.
Yeah.
You know, from sort of being sick, and as you're vomiting, you're also, it's, you know, it's coming out both ends at the same time, you know? And £10, you can run a marathon.
Okay.
From one extreme to that extreme, it's
Yeah.
like,
So you know when someone takes these drugs, how long until the effect kicks in after taking it? Is it instant or minutes?
a minute, yeah, it's not long. Depending on how they take it, I suppose.
What percentage of the homeless people would you say are on drugs in London?
I don't know, I can't say. It's not down for me to say, so it's,
What percentage?
because someone looks like they're on drugs doesn't mean that they are on drugs, does it?
Well, I'm sure you communicate with a lot of them, and you probably get to know them from
I would have
those-
thought about 99%. That wasn't the answer you wanted, was it?
No, the reason is I find that hilarious is because when we started, we were very what's the word? Very oblivious to all of this. But then we realized straight away
Have
that
you ever
okay,
interviewed someone who's not on drugs?
exactly, good question. So most people are, and the funny thing is, every homeless person I ask, I used to think it was 80%, but then we asked some other people, they say 85, then 90, and you're saying now 99%. Which again, it's not hard to believe, to be honest, from what we
So
experience.
let's put it this way, right? If someone's homeless, you guys don't take drugs. Your money goes on your bills,
Yeah.
mortgage, whatever, petrol, you know. If you're spending every penny on drugs, you're not paying your mortgage or your rent and your petrol and all that. So you lose your house, you're on the street, but you're still getting the same money off the government. And now you're on the street, so you haven't even got any rent to pay. You haven't got
All those
anything
bills
to
are
pay.
gone.
So surely that they should literally have bags of cash if they're not on drugs. Or their money is going somewhere, because they're not paying to stay in hostels.
But not everyone gets benefits.
I don't know many people that in England that's not working that doesn't get benefits.
Homeless people, yeah?
I would have thought at least 90% of homeless people get benefits.
Because a lot of them, the problem they have is that well, you need an accommodation or an address a lot of times. Or
Right.
maybe it depends what borough you're in.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think someone's lying to you. I can't see how it can be alright for one person in England to have
Yeah.
benefits and then another one not, and they're both in the same situation.
And a lot of times they can't open a bank account as well. So
Right.
where would the money go
They get a voucher number
from?
from the government, it gets text to them,
Yeah.
and then they go into a post office, give the person behind the counter the voucher number, they put that in the computer, it tells them how much to pay them. I was with a woman who done it the other day.
Okay. How many times in total did you go prison?
I don't know, a few,
What was the longest period you done in prison?
for 3 years.
The first time, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any period that was particularly hard for you?
All the ones after,
After the first one?
yeah, because I had children then. And as much as life goes on, you know, you do, or I.
Let me ask you this though. You know, you were obviously, before when you went, you were a son, a brother, and you went prison, you took that risk. But what changes when you have kids? Like, why does a mum's or a dad's mentality change when they have kids? Because you're still family at the end of the day. You got kids, but then before you had parents and siblings. Why does it change?
Because my parents and siblings wasn't innocent, my children are. And it's my job as their parent to keep them innocent. So that's what changed for me, personally. And then when I lost, I didn't lose my children, that's wrong. When I split up with their mum and she took the responsibility of looking after them. I was very silly and didn't handle it very well emotionally. And basically went back on drugs and it just spiraled out of control until basically today.
You know, regarding drugs, do you think people that take it, is it because they've been exposed to it or they've gone looking for it? Or is it just depends on the person? How does it generally happen?
I think everybody's got to be exposed to something before they can go looking for it. How can you look for something you don't know exists?
But what I mean is it people that drugs are around them, so it's easier for them to get it? Or?
Yeah, of course. If you grew up in a household and your mum and dad's taking drugs, and you grew up in a household and your parents would never have drugs in that house ever, which one's more likely to take drugs?
Yeah, of course, that makes sense. And you know, you mentioned earlier about child abuse. How long did that go on for?
So it was 14, 15, probably 14.
Was that like 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years, something like that.
So that man who did that, is he in prison right now?
He's dead.
He died?
Yeah.
Because you said there was a court case.
Yeah.
So what happened after that court case?
He basically got 12 years, but he died within a few months of...
Being in prison?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he was in prison indefinitely anyway.
All right.
For kidnapping another child.
Okay.
So, you know, you're talking a fucking real shitbag.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people out there like that are just hidden. Would you agree? Or are these like rare cases, do you think?
I don't think it's rare cases. I don't think there's a lot of people out there and they're hidden. I just think back when I was younger, there was, for instance, 5 TV channels and 3 papers.
Yeah.
So there wasn't even internet. You know, so hearing about predators and child abuse and all that didn't rarely happen. So when something did happen like that, it was like a big shock, outcry. Now you've got 100 TV channels, 50 papers, internet, and everywhere is child abuse. So everybody thinks the world's populated with fucking abusers. And there isn't any more now than what there was then.
Yeah.
They're just publicised now.
Yeah, that's a good point actually.
Our government has put the fear into us.
Yeah, same with a lot of other crimes like knife crime as well.
Yeah,
It's just
of course.
about the way it's publicised. What event in your childhood do you think defined you the most?
My brother giving me a joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that affect you or define you, your childhood?
That was the very first time ever I took a drug.
And how old were you?
Probably 8, 9. But you know, that's literally the place we grew up in. It was just one of them, like, you know, my brother was only 2 years older than me. We're not talking my brother is like a, you know, so if I'm 8, 9, he's sort of 10, 11.
Yeah.
So you're talking literally 2 children.
Yeah. Are you still in touch with your brother?
Yes, that's what's fair.
Okay. And you know, if you could talk to your younger self, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Be stronger. Sure. Mentally.
So you felt like you could have been stronger mentally?
At times, yeah.
Yeah. And what you went through in life, how did that change the way you raised your kids? Or how did that impact
My
the way you raised?
children really weren't allowed to sleep out very much.
Yeah. So you're very protective.
Yeah. Yeah, I always knew where they were. My children sort of had everything bought for them. So I used to take them to the shop, buy them. You know, my parents would literally buy something stolen in front of us and give it to us. Do you know what I mean? I would take my children to a shop and buy them. So, you know, my children work. I give my children a work ethics. My parents give me a stealing ethics. You know, so even though I'm saying all this, I'm not proud of any of it. I'm literally a product of my environment.
Yeah.
If you're brought up, if you're born and you're given to an army camp and you're literally brought up in the army, you are a soldier.
Yeah.
If you're a child and you're brought up in a criminal household, you are a criminal.
Wow.
Or, you know, you've got to be very fucking good to not be.
Yeah. Because you got no reason not to be it, because that's all you see around you, so you think that's normal.
Yeah.
Now, you know, you said about earlier that part of the reason why your life ended up the way it was is because of what happened with, you know, your dad raising you and then drugs and crime. What do you think was that thing for your dad that made him that way? Because you said you're a product of your environment, so I'm guessing he also is a product of his environment. But what was it about his environment, like your grandparents and stuff like?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think some of it, competition,
How do you mean?
having more than your sibling.
Because you said he had like 9.
Yeah, so for him to have more than the person next to him, I guess he thought the easiest way was stealing.
You know, regarding homelessness, in fact, let's talk about the prison system first. Would you say it doesn't work, the prison system?
I would say it works for 10%.
How can they improve it? From someone?
can't.
They can't.
They can't. The only way to improve it is by going backwards.
Which is what?
Take the TVs away, take the quilts away, take all the nice things away.
Which won't happen.
No, but
Yeah.
that's the way you do. Look at me, I'm on the street. So I'm somewhere where I've not got a local connection. I can't get a house, can't get in a hostel. So now it becomes winter and it's 0 degrees. I go break a window, I get put in a heated room with a TV, 3 meals a day. And I've got 20 people to protect me as well. Where am I better off?
You're home, basically,
Yeah.
in a way. But do you reckon if they made the punishment more severe, do you think that would change something?
What do you mean, bigger sentences?
Yeah, or in any way they can make it more severe. Or would they just make things
Just make
work?
people be more clever, I think.
They always find a way around it.
I don't think there's always finding a way around it. I just think, I just think society, people want more than the man next to them.
It's
And you always
competition.
get someone who wants to take a shortcut.
Yeah.
And they won't think about the consequence. They only think about the reward.
And then coming back to homelessness, and you mentioned the issue of the local connections. Why do you think charities have that as a rule, that you need to have a local connection? I don't think it's all of them, but a lot of them have that.
Because it's easier to do that and fob you off than actually say, yeah, you can stay here and we'll work with you.
But what's the purpose of a homeless charity then? If surely the purpose is
I don't
to
know,
help.
I asked them that because I
Yeah.
actually went to one with a doctor's registration form to help me fill it out. And I was told the staff wasn't allowed to help me fill it out because they can't help me because I haven't got a local connection and I've not been in the area 6 months. So I don't know how they're spending the funders' money, but they're definitely not spending on helping homeless people because you've seen where I sleep.
Yeah,
And their
exactly.
staff can't help me fill out a doctor's registration form. Like, Dello Centre, come on, sort it out.
And you know, when you mentioned the local connection, who do they mean? Like, is it a family member or a friend? What are they looking for?
Family member, spouse,
Someone that lives in the area.
yeah, or you've been in the area a long time.
What, you mean as a homeless person, or someone that you know who's been in the area for?
No, as a homeless person, you've got to be in the area 6 months.
Okay.
So it's like me, I can't go back to where I have my connection
Yeah.
because of the actions that I have done, which I take full responsibility for. But I
Yeah.
have to go somewhere. And they're telling me I have to go back, where I know there's people waiting to cause me serious harm. So I'm telling them I'm not going back. I will sleep underneath a staircase next to the Thames until you realise the situation that I'm in. And basically, I'm under the stairs.
Have you not been in this area for 6 months?
No, I've been in the area for like 3-4 months. I think even in 2 months' time, I think there'll just be another excuse, just
Yeah.
some other reason why they just can't help me. Now, don't get me wrong, I go there every dinner time and I get a meal. I can go there every day and have a shower.
Yeah.
So they can open a gate, you know? So I suppose funding is going somewhere.
What made you leave Plymouth?
I stole a large quantity of drugs off drug dealers. To basically sell and to move away and start a new life.
How'd you steal from them? So what, you break into their house or what? Or you just don't pay them? But normally you'd have to
Yeah.
pay for first, I guess.
No, they sort of, they had their drugs hid somewhere and I knew where they were.
Okay. And you
So it was
took
a
it,
case of, I went and took them in the middle of the night.
and you sold them after?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So just coming to a close then, just a couple more questions. What event in your adult life would you say defined you the most?
Having my children. Sure.
How did that change you?
It made me mortal.
More what?
Mortal.
Okay.
Made me a person. Before I couldn't really care what happened.
Yeah.
But as soon as I had my son, it all changed.
Is that not dangerous for someone who's in a criminal lifestyle to care?
Nah, because I've always kept them separate. Like it is and it isn't, you know. I've always been honest with my children.
No, but what I mean is that becomes your weak point then. Because if someone wants to get revenge, they know where to go.
It does, but there's like an unwritten rule with the criminal life, like you don't go turn up someone's mum's house.
Okay.
Because if you do, you better be carrying a decent weapon because you're getting fucked up.
Okay.
So it's one of those sort of like, you don't involve children, you don't involve parents.
Okay. So
You know, your actions are yours. They're not your siblings.
makes sense. So even with lawlessness, there's rules.
Yes,
You gotta
yeah,
stay
of
in that
course,
circle.
yes, yeah.
Cool. And what can people do to help the homeless?
Open more hostels? I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. Make things more accessible, as in, you know, if you're homeless and people come out and see you sleeping on the street, and there is empty rooms in hostels, why can't that person sleep in that bed? Why does he need to have slept on the street for 6 months before he can have that empty room? Why does he need to smell for 6 months before he can have a shower? Why does he need to go for a bin bag to eat? When there is empty rooms, empty beds.
Okay, fair statement. Because those rooms are not being used anyway, so.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, what would your final message be to the world? What would you want the world to know?
A personal thing?
Yeah.
I'm genuinely sorry if I've ever hurt anybody. Life's to live, you know?
Live it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Graham, thank you so much for that. And you know, there's many things you've said that it's actually helped us as well. We've learned a lot from it as well. And I really wish that more people can watch this and learn from it. And you are an amazing person, because I don't think our past, we should be judged by it, because if you've moved on from it and you become a better person because of it, you know, it's all about the now and where you are now. And I really hope that your future gets better. In fact, what do you feel like your future looks like for you? What is your plan?
What do I feel my future looks like, or what is my plan for the future? Because they're two different sort of questions.
What's your plan for the future?
To stay in and around London, to get a house, not a house, you know, a flat, somewhere to live in, accommodation, to get a job, and to live a normal life, which I know isn't full of crime, stealing, drug taking, violence. I know a normal life is like 9 to 5, having a glass of wine when you get home, and having a bath. But some people need to learn that that's a normal life. It's took me 41 years to learn it. Well,
Wow.
40, because I've been walking around for a year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we pray you get the things that you're planning for, and hopefully we can also, and the viewers can also help you in some way as well. Yeah. Thank you so much once again.
All right,
And
cool.
God bless
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Let me get the lights. Oh, nice.
It's different.
It's
Different to my staircase for sure.
Prams though. Here we are.
Yeah. No, I just want to say thank you to everybody who donates to the site, and this is what it does pay for.
Thank you. And so there's going to be your room for the next few nights. Enjoy it. Breakfast is included as well, as they said.
Yeah. No, it's
And
brilliant.
you've
Thank you.
got our number. Thanks for contacting us back as well. And anything you need for the future as well, we're here. Just
Yeah.
a call away.
All right. No, it's
Yeah.
brilliant. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So enjoy your stay.
Yeah. No, I'm
All
really
right.
happy. Thank you very much.
God bless you, bro.
Cheers.
Take care.